What's good everyone, Theory here, and today we will be looking at the Guilty Gear Strive beta. One big difference that immediately stood out to me when we started getting footage of this game was air dashing. It's a mechanic that has always been a focal point of Guilty Gear's Neutral, and Strive has made drastic changes to it. So let's look at these changes properly and find out what's different from Xrd. Obviously the biggest and most controversial addition is the visual cue and delay at startup. In Neutral, this is clearly going to make anti-airs a little easier and catching people on startup far more common. Granted, the actual momentum after startup is very quick, but having something semi-universal to look out for when someone is in the air to indicate they're coming towards you is going to make a huge difference. It's worth noting that this isn't the case for backward air dashes, which lack the visual cue, but for now appear to have slightly reduced range when compared to their Xrd counterpart. Currently, the only character that doesn't have this on their forward air dash is Faust, who moves considerably slower when compared to the rest of the cast, but it's an interesting thing to note that they are willing to create characters that differ from their early on status quo. On top of the direct changes to Neutral, this will probably make things like late air dashes for Oki far more reactable. A huge, yet slightly less obvious change is how FD works after an air dash. Typically in Xrd, you can only FD after an air dash late in the active frames, forcing you to space your jump ins if you want to protect yourself from an anti-air. In Strive, as soon as the startup is finished, you can go immediately into FD, which not only protects you from anti-airs, but changes the arc of your jump, making you hit the ground really early on, which in turn will make it harder for the opponent to burn through your tension gauge. Normal jumping attacks will also alter the arc of your dash. It was very common in Xrd when you did an instant air dash, if you weren't using the correct buttons, had the opponent in the corner, or spaced yourself correctly, your button would actually whiff on a crouching opponent especially. This is not the case now. You will immediately start descending towards the ground when you hit a button, making it a lot easier to hit the opponent. I would assume that this change is in reaction to the limitations that jump Gatlings now have, and to make multiple jumping attacks far less common in Oki situations. There were characters that had jump normals which changed their arc, but it wasn't the norm. The last change we're going to look at is jump cancelable air normals. In Xrd, the only way to air dash out of a jump normal is to first jump, then air dash. Because this required extra movement, it was limited to characters such as Dizzy, who could air dash twice. Most characters could simply only jump out of these normals. In Strive, once again this is completely different. Here you can cancel straight into the air dash from the jump normal. This won't only affect pressure, but it will completely shift how to convert on an airborne opponent, hopefully covering up some of those gaps left by the limited Gatling system. Anyway, hopefully this was helpful to you. This is obviously beta footage and only from my own testing and what I've seen other people talking about, so take everything with a pinch of salt, but hopefully you learned something. Anyway, have a great day and take care of yourself.